Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be trying out a few face products and seeing how I like them, keeping them on for a few hours during the day and revisiting you guys and telling you how I think they wore and stuff like that. So today I'm going to be trying out the Furless BB Tinted Moist Cream. I hate how they call it moist cream. And this one is in the shade Light. I already tested it out to see if it matched me. It does. It's a little bit too dark, but we're gonna make it work. And then I am also reviewing the Beauty Bakerie concealers, the cake face concealers. And I know there's a lot of different things going on in my face right now. I have a beauty oil on my skin, so I probably look a little bit greasy. My eyebrows are done. And also, for those of you who don't follow my Instagram, you probably didn't see that I got my eyelashes tinted and permed yesterday, which a lot of people didn't know was a thing, but I've been wanting to get it done for such a long time. And one of my really good friends' sister is an esthetician and she does it all the time. So I went and finally got it done and I really, really like it. I'm still kind of scared to get anything on my eyelashes, even though it's been 24 hours. But I really like how it turned out. If you guys are interested in the process, I did post a short video of how everything went down on my Instagram. It's pretty interesting. It looks kind of scary, but it wasn't scary at all. I didn't even feel anything. I almost fell asleep during the process. And it took about 45 minutes, so it wasn't that long. Anyways, that's unimportant and not relevant to the video, but I only have one shade of this BB cream, so I'm not going to be swatching a bunch of different shades for you guys, but I do have all of these shades of the concealers and I'm going to be swatching them on my face for you guys. I know that swatching the really dark shades on my skin aren't going to be very helpful to those of you with darker skin tones, but I'm gonna do it anyways just so you guys can see the comparison between like my really fair skin and the darkest shades. Okay, so the Furless BB cream is $35 and each concealer is $24, which is a bit steep, but that's like the average price of concealers in Sephora. I do think it is a bit steep, but if it's a good concealer, then it might be worth it. So first I'm gonna swatch all the shades on my face before I apply the BB cream. First, starting with the lightest shade, this one is called Mug Life. Just gonna zoom you guys in a bit. So that is the lightest shade. This is the second lightest shade and it's called Don't Give a Frappe. And the third lightest shade is called Pro-Caffeinating. Then we have Love You Latte. Next is You're Beautiful. And then this one is called Cool Beans. Then we have You Mocha Me Crazy. And the last one is called What's Frappin'. Okay, so those were all the shades. Now we're gonna get into actually putting on the makeup. So I'm first just gonna put on some primer. I'm using the Too Faced Hangover Primer. And some of my dermatitis is popping back up, so this will really be a test for the cream and the concealer. I mostly just wanted to try this BB cream because I didn't want to put anything too high coverage on my face because I wanted to see how these concealers would work on their own, but also I need something that kind of just evens out my skin tone because I've got some like red patches and stuff. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of that BB cream on the back of my hand and apply that with my beauty blender. Okay, so it's not the absolute best at covering up, you know, my blemishes and stuff, but it did even out my skin tone a little bit and put a little bit of moisture back in my skin. Okay, so obviously I'm going to be using the lightest shade. I feel like this shade range was a good range for Beauty Bakerie to start out with. There's 8 colors. They did make each color very different from one another, so there is a big variety of colors that you can choose from. I do feel like they didn't go quite light enough with it. Also, it's just a little too yellow from what I can tell, but I'll give my final thoughts on it once I put it all over my face. From what I could tell from these swatches, these dry very, very fast. And it's probably similar to their liquid lipstick formula, where once they dry, they don't come off. Just what I'm assuming. I haven't watched any reviews on this concealer, so I'm not sure what to expect. It does seem very, very liquidy off the bat, but let's just go ahead and do one section at a time because I don't want it to dry up too fast. Yeah, it does dry pretty fast, wow. So it went on really, really yellow. Like I thought that I wasn't gonna be able to make it look good at all, but once you blend it out kind of, it doesn't look quite as yellow. Like this looks really, really yellow to me, putting it straight on my skin. And man, it dries really, really fast. You have to work very fast with it. So yeah, it does still look pretty yellow to me. It probably would work better for me if I was a little bit tanner, like in the summertime. It does cover up pretty well, like that was just one layer. So that's impressive. Okay, so I'm gonna do one more layer underneath the eyes and kind of drag it down just a little bit, just to blend the warm tones into the rest of my face so it doesn't look like weird or anything. Okay, so this is what my face looks like finished. Definitely a lot warmer than what I normally go for. I noticed that on the website for the Mug Life shade in particular, it says that this is the lightest shade with cool undertones and does the job better than Coffee to Wake Up Your Face with color correcting full coverage formula. I do agree that it is, if you build it up enough, it is full coverage. And it is very dry on my, not dry, like it doesn't feel dry, but it's dry on my face to where I know that it's not gonna move anywhere. I, however, disagree with the cool toned thing. I think that this concealer is very, very warm toned for my complexion. Like if I were to pick this up in the store and look at the label, I would expect it to say like warm pale shade. You know how some concealers have like light neutral, light cool, light warm. I would expect this to be a light warm shade, not a light cool. I have to give it props though, because it's not really creasing that much on my eyelids, and it's been sitting here without powder for about 5 minutes, and it is creasing a little bit underneath my eyes, but not as much as it normally does. Even when I touch it, it feels like really, really stable, and it doesn't feel like it's gonna move anywhere. So I'm gonna set my face with powder. Today I'm using the Beauty Bakerie Flower Powder, and this is in translucent. I haven't really used this very much, but I am gonna give it a go today. I'm just gonna pack it on underneath my eyes a little bit with my Beauty Blender. And also on my smile lines. And on my eyelids. Then I'm just gonna take this big fluffy powder brush from Rouge and Rogue, and I'm going to set the rest of my face with that powder. Okay, so you can especially tell how dark and warm it is on my face when I mattify it with powder. I'm just going to try to look beside the color on my face and see how this concealer lasts. I'm gonna go ahead and bronze up my face and put a little highlighter on it. Taking the ColourPop Pressed Powder Bronzer, this is in the shade Private Party. Oh, and for highlight, I'm using the Ofra highlighter in Pillow Talk. You guys know I'm obsessed with this highlighter right now. Okay, so it is pretty hard for me to look past this color. I just don't think that it works for me at all. It's too dark, too warm, definitely not a light enough shade to be the lightest shade for concealer, but I will get more into that after I wear this for a little bit. I do want to see how it looks on my face after a few hours, if it creases or if it stays pretty good. So yeah, I will be back soon. Okay, hey everyone, it's been about 5 hours. Also, if the video looks a little bit different, I rearranged my lights and my camera so that my camera is closer to me now, so it should be a little bit more clear to see everything and stuff like that. I'm gonna take off my glasses so we can, I mean, besides my glasses marks, we're just gonna blend those out really quick. What I'm noticing with this concealer is it's a bit dry on my skin. I don't know if that has to do with the powder in combination with the concealer. The powder hasn't always been my favorite, so maybe I should have used like one of my go-to powders like the Kat Von D Lock-It powder or the Cover FX powder. Either way, everything, it just kind of looks a little bit dry if you look up really closely, like around my nose right here. Kind of like bunching up a little bit, like I have a dry patch there. But besides it seeming a little bit dry, it's held up pretty nicely. Like underneath my eyes hasn't creased very much. My smile lines haven't creased very much at all compared to what they normally do. The color I'm still not happy with, but overall the concealer lasted pretty well on my face. If I were to use it again, I would use a more moisturizing primer and also maybe use a different powder because Beauty Bakerie's powder just doesn't always work for me very well. I know that it is some people's like ride or die powder. It works for some skin types really well, but it just doesn't work very well for me. So my overall consensus of this concealer is I think that they did a good job with their first initial launch of these concealers. I think they did a good job with the color variety, but I really do hope that they come out with some more paler shades and maybe some more shades in the middle, because the three like lightest shades, it goes from really light to medium to like medium tan, if you know what I mean. It doesn't really have very many colors in between those colors, and that can go for the darker colors as well, but I think they started off with a really good like light color and a really dark color. Again, like I said, I really do hope that they come out with a lot more paler shades, and if they do, to actually make them cool toned, because the lightest shade, they said it was cool toned, but it was definitely the most like yellow concealer I think I've ever used. I don't have a problem with yellow concealers as long as they are light enough for me. That one wasn't quite light enough for me. Okay, Finny. But yeah, it lasted pretty well on me. I don't really have very many bad things to say about it. I would recommend it to someone who has oily skin or you have troubles with keeping your concealer in place. This concealer really locks onto your skin and doesn't really move very much, which is good for some skin types. But like with me, it can be kind of iffy because I do have dry skin. It can go really bad sometimes if I don't like moisturize enough before I do it or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think of it down below and what you guys want to see me review next. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I love you, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye, guys.